I'm Angela and welcome to episode 4 of the NewyKnits podcast. I'm coming to you from Newcastle in New South Wales in Australia. I haven't recorded for a couple of months and it's quite a noisy Sunday here in my neighbourhood, so I hope you don't hear too much noise. Okay, to get into the knitting, I finished some socks for my niece Claire. So they are knit out of stray cat socks in the Candy Corn Deluxe colourway. It's a New Zealand yarn and it was okay to knit with, but it was a bit splitty, so I don't think I will knit with her yarn again. So hopefully my niece enjoys those. I've also finished some other pairs of socks which have been on the needles for a while. I've been on a mission to kind of clear my needles because I used to knit with bamboo needles, but now I find I really like knitting with Knit Pro Carbons or Knit Pro Zings, and I only have a limited number of those. So I have just been knitting like a crazy woman to free up my needles. So this pair of socks is for my mum. It's knit out of skein yarn in the Speak Easy colourway, which is, I think it's a merino cashmere nylon blend. I forget what base it's on, but I thought I'd better not use merino cashmere nylon for the heels and toes in case they wear out. So I put a bit of Knit Picks Stroll in for the heels and toes, which has some nylon in it so it doesn't wear out. So yeah, I really like those for her and I'll give them to her quite soon. It's warming up, but it's still a little bit chilly, so hopefully she'll get some wear out of those. And I have one more finished pair of socks. This pair is also for my niece. I'm definitely going to knit myself a pair out of Knit Picks Felici at some point in time, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. But I definitely will someday. So this is Knit Picks Felici. Ooh, look at that hole there. Oh, let's go the other side. I tend to have holes in one side of my socks and not the other, which doesn't bother me too much, so I don't sew up the holes, but I probably should. It's the Knit Picks Felici rainbow colourway, and it's a really cool colourway, but I think you can see, no, this one here has quite a few dye issues, like here and over here in that red section, so it's not perfect by any means, but I don't think my niece will mind all that much. And I finished them. This has just a bit of green at the toe, so I almost had them lined up, but unfortunately I didn't have them perfect, but that's okay. I'm sure she won't mind too much. And I forgot to say, I'm wearing this top today because it has a knitting movement on it, just here. I think that's the mum movement, but I'm not quite sure, but I just thought knitting movement's pretty cool, so I thought I'd wear it on the podcast. Okay, so some half-finished objects. Well, I think one half-finished object. I got some yarn ages ago from Countess Ablaze, and I did like a Halloween cast on, kind of like Danny's from the Little Bobbins Christmas Eve cast on, but I cast it on Halloween. And it's a really cool colourway. I don't know the name of it. I'm sure I've got it written down somewhere, but it's just really funky. So the yarn is by Countess Ablaze. And I have the next sock started, but I haven't done very much of it. And I apologise if you can hear my neighbour's dog. It barks a lot. It's that one. I forgot to say that's the leftover from the stray cat socks, because it's kind of like striped when it's rolled up, but then you get to the middle of it and it just looks like this, which is fine. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but I'll find something. And then I bought some things from Little Skein and the Big Wool. I remember Susan B. Anderson talking about her on her podcast ages ago. Like, I love Susan B. Anderson's podcast, and I've always wanted to get some wool from her. So I bought a bag as well, which is really cool, because it has some knitted moon fabric. I actually think Anne, who runs it, designs her own fabric and prints it up and makes bags, which is really cool. And the inside is just little moons. So I am making my brother some socks, and the wool is really nice. It's quite spongy. It's not a merino blend. It is, that's her tag. I think I've got the tag in here somewhere. Here it is. So that's the tag, and it's the house sock base, and it's 90% American targy and 10% nylon. And yeah, it's a really spongy, springy base. Oh, my neighbour's home. She's been away overseas, so it's nice to hear that she's back. This is my brother's sock. It's turning out really well so far. I still have quite a bit to go on the foot. It has a little, I bought a little progress keeper, but it's actually ceramic, which is really cool. And I love all things like mushroom and gnomes and that sort of thing. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. So that's one brother, but one issue I had was this skein was so hard to wind. Like I put it on my, what's it called? Umbrella winder, whatever it's called. And I had to actually chop it into 3 different balls because there were so many tangles in it. So I'm really not sure if I'll buy from her again, just because of how much this was tangled, and I had to actually hand wind this one. I managed to get this one mostly done, but I had to hand wind that and another ball because it was so tangled. So that's not cool, but what can you do? What else have I got? I am really trying to finish projects at the moment, get things off the needles, kind of like a spring clean. I've had this shawl on the go all the way around for 4 years. I just really need to get stuck in and get it done. It's the Endless Rainbow Shawl by Martina Bem, and I really like the construction of it. The yarn is by the Flying Kettle. That's her rainbow kind of colour. And that, I wished it was white, but she actually sent me a cream, like undyed base. So maybe that's why I'm not loving it, but I think I should still get it finished because it is a pretty cool pattern and I've made a bit of a dint in it, so I really should try and get that done sometime soon. That's in my field bag. To be honest, I don't get the hype around fringe bags. It's just a canvas bag with a pull string. I'm not going to buy any more because I think it's just a bit of a waste of money. But I do really like my axolotl pin. Reminds me of my best friend. And got a few other pins there. Ooh. Including my gnome pin, which is another one of my favourites. So yeah, fringe bag. Hey, if you want it, go for it, but I really don't get the hype. Oh, and this is that's what the Endless Rainbow Shawl is going to look like, but not show you the pattern. So yeah, that's all the knitting. I haven't been knitting all that much. I have knitted some other pairs of socks for my niece, but I gave them to her without recording them on the podcast first. Actually, I've knitted something else that I forgot. I'm just going to pause this and go and get it. Alright, I'm back. So I finished my mum's honey cowl, which was made out of Manas del Uruguay Maxima in the Oxygen colourway. And it turned out really nice. I did make a few mistakes. Oh, upside down. But my mum really likes it, which is the main thing. I don't wear cowls very well, but I'll put it on just to show you. So it kind of sits like that. My mum always wears cowls really well, so whenever she wears it, it looks fabulous. But I just can't seem to wear cowls very nicely. But that'll keep her nice and warm. So I might go drop that back to her today. And in terms of, oh, I know I've got one more thing. It's in my Adventure Time bag. My brother and his girlfriend had a baby boy, which was really exciting. And I said I would knit him it's a bonnet, I forget the name of it, silver fox bonnet. And I'm knitting that out of a Knit Picks alpaca blend, but I haven't gotten very far, so I really need to get cracking on that one. It's so soft though, it's beautiful. So I shall get cracking on that. Okay, so I thought I would show you my acquisitions. Some are recent, some aren't. I went to Bellingen for a week. I had a week off work for a knitcation, and I stayed in a B&B up there, and it's beautiful, Bellingen. It's about a 4-hour drive north of Newcastle and about half an hour inland, and it's just a beautiful spot. It's like a farming area. There's lots of dairy farms. There's a yarn store there called Weave, which has some hedgehog fibres and some other yarns. And I just go there to recharge, and I had a really great time. So I thought I would show you some things I got from there, and also just some other acquisitions that I've got over the last couple of months, because I think the last time I recorded was in May. So let's get started. My dad and my brother have said to me they really like the German sock yarn, so I bought some more opal. This is the Claude Monet series, and oh, that's upside down. I've seen it knitted up and it's really pretty, so I really hope that they like the socks that I knit from that. They're the paintings that they're based off. So yeah, I'm looking forward to knitting those up. I went to my local yarn store a few days ago. It's called Mulberry and Flax, and it's in, I'd say, Islington or Mayfield. It's on the main road there. And I should have taken some footage when I was there, but I forgot. So I bought some of her hand-dyed yarn. She has 2 dyers that dye yarn for her. Oh, got hair on there. This is the Grace Cossington Smith colourway, and she is the painter who painted the Sock Knitter, which is a really beautiful picture. If you wanted to look that up at some point, it's of her sister knitting socks, and it's beautiful. And if I had millions of dollars, I'd try and buy the original. So that's her. It's 100% Australian single origin, 50% merino, 50% alpaca, and it's spun down at the, what's it called? Woolloongabba Woolen Mills. It's spun somewhere in Australia, and it's also Australian merino and alpaca, which is really cool. And I also bought some of this, Yarn Therapy. She used to be based in Newcastle. She used to be called Clementine and Thread, but now she's moved back to New Zealand. And she has, she's still dyeing, just changed the name to Yarn Therapy. It actually says here yarn is cheaper than therapy. But it's a really cool colourway. I really like it. And it's called Maflingo, which I think is a cartoon character, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's really cool. I went and found some things on D-Stash, and I've always wanted a full skein of Knox Yarn Co. I have some little mini skeins, but I don't have a full skein. And I saw this on D-Stash, and I was like, yes, I've always wanted a skein of this. So it's Knox Yarn Co. in the Fillery and Further colourway, which is based on a book series which I've read, The Magicians. I think it's The Magician King and another one by Lev Grossman. Really good books, a little bit weird, but still really good books. It's a beautiful colourway. So I might put that into a shawl. She's a new to me dyer called Squiggle Yarn Co. I'm not sure exactly where she's based in Australia, but her colour sense is amazing. It's really bright splashes of colour, and I've subscribed to her advent calendar just for 12 days, so I can't wait to get that. This is just a sock blank, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it just says number 28. But I will take it out and show you. I'm not sure if I've already showed this on the podcast or not, but I'll show it to you again. So It's just so much fun. So with a sock blank, if you're not familiar, you undo it at this end, like that, and you knit some socks out of it, and you never know how really it's going to turn out because it's such a funky, weird way to dye yarn. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to knitting that up. Now I have to just get that back in the roll, but that will be okay. And I found this also on D-Stash, Trailing Clouds yarn in the Mind the Gap colourway, which is one of my favourite rainbow striping yarns of all time. So I can't wait to knit that up into some socks. There is also another new to me dyer called Louie and Lola, and she's from Tasmania. And she put a post on the Australian Knitters Ravelry group, and her sock yarn was really reasonably priced. I can't remember how much this was, but I think it was only like $26 or $28 with pretty cheap shipping. And it's a really cool colourway. It's called Party Time, and it's her Lola 4-ply sock, 75% superwash Australian merino, which is great. She uses Australian merino, 25% nylon. So I can't wait to knit that up. It's beautiful. So good on her. And they're named after her 2 dogs, who are little sausage dogs, I think, or dachshunds. And they're super cute. So looking forward to knitting that up. When I was in Bellingen, I had to buy a skein of hedgehog because that's just what I do when I go there. This is the Bramble colourway. Really nice soft pastels. And I also bought a yarn, this colourway. I don't know exactly who dyes it or how much it is in there, but I really want to make a hat, so I will be making a nice fun hat out of that. I also saw this on D-Stash, Jinx Yarns in her Totoro number one colourway. I still haven't seen the movies, so I really need to check them out. I'll make some socks out of that. And then last podcast I said that I was in Skein Sisters, but I forgot to talk about the yarn that I bought when I was there. So these are the 2 yarns that I bought. This is Magpie Fibres in her Swanky sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, in the Cinder colourway. And yes, it was expensive. It was like $49.50. But it's so soft and squishy. And I think I'm going to make my dad and my brother some socks because Father's Day is coming up, so I might make Dad some socks. But that's in a week, so I don't know if I can crank out a pair. And I don't mean crank like machine knitting socks, I mean hand knitting socks. Because I don't think machine knitting socks is actually knitting. I think it's doing this, which isn't knitting. So yeah, that's that. And I also bought this skein of, I think it's Ulan, which is an Irish dyer. I think she's based in Cork, which is where I used to live for a little while, but I'm not quite sure. It's called Obelisk, and I thought that was fitting because in Newcastle we have an obelisk in the top of town. It's not peach, it's white, but it's still really pretty. So that's that one. Beautiful speckling. And that was a bit expensive too, it was like $41.50. Don't tell my mum. I bought some Felici. This is a really fun colourway. It's called Sally. It's based off A Nightmare Before Christmas, I think, the movie. I'm not sure. I didn't love a lot of the colourways that were released this year, but I did like that one. Good. And then Kindred Red had a update, so I managed to snag some of her yarn, which I've wanted for a while because I think she's an amazing dyer. I just really love her colour sense. This is her Rad sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So much hair. It's called Seashell Bra. It's really cool. I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I really love it. And then she also had a seconds sale. So this was her DK, Rad DK Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy, which I think is a Mario, as in the Mario games reference. It's just really pretty. pastels. I might make a hat, but we'll see. I've always wanted the Mad Tosh Merino Peach colourway. Lara from the NewyKnits made a homespun house shawl. I can't remember the name of it, but she had like a grey and then this as the edging, and it looked stunning. So I'm definitely going to do that. I think it's the Whispering Pine shawl. I'm not sure. So yes, I really want to do that, but it's just an amazing colourway. Oh, phenomenal. Whoever thought of that is a genius. I saw on the Little Woolly, which is a yarn store in somewhere, I think it's in Adelaide, I'm really not sure. She had a picture of this yarn dye. He was just a young guy, like maybe early 20s, and he dyes yarn. And I thought, I'm going to support that. So it's Maxi Moo Yarns. I think his name is Max. This colour is called Crime Scene, and it's his sock yarn, which is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 400 metres. And I just thought, good on him, having his own hand-dyed yarn line. Why not? And then I saw that Hugh Loco was having a grab bag sale, and I've always wanted some of her yarn, so I bought some. I like a third of the yarn that I got. I'm not a big fan of the other 2/3, but I might just use them to make socks, or I might de-stash them. I'm not sure, so we'll see. So the two that I like are these two. So this is her Hugh Loco Phyllis sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is the Rebel Just for Kicks Lot B, which I really like. I definitely make socks out of that. This is the other one that I like. Her spun sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. Now someone is mowing their lawns, so I better hurry up. That's the Ohana colourway. It reminds me of a tropical island. I really don't like olive as a colour. I hate olive green, army green. So yeah, I might make my mum a pair of socks out of that, because I'm just not a fan. It's the Phyllis sock in the olive colourway. Sorry, Nicole, but I don't like olive. This one is the spun sock, so the cashmere nylon one. Grandma's Lilacs. I've never seen lilacs in real life, so I can't testify for what lilacs look like. Kind of like a purpley grey. It's a little bit boring, but I might put it in a shawl. This one I thought was kind of interesting. Modest Melon. It's kind of peachy colourway. Kind of reminds me of Olan. I think they would get along if I did some kind of fade or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway. Last but not least, this is her saltwater colourway, which is a bit different. My dog's about to bark. So yeah, that's that one. So thanks so much for joining me. Sorry if it's a bit of a short podcast, but I just have had some work on and some uni on. I only have a few months left of uni for the year. Can't wait to finish so I can just knit all the things. So thanks for joining me, and I will hopefully be back in a couple of months with a few more knits. Thanks, bye. It's me again. I forgot to say that at the end here I'll put in some footage of when I was in Bellingen. Just a bit of the town and a bit of the yarn store that I really like, called Weave, and yeah, just thought I would show you around Bellingen. Alright, have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.